Welcome back. I hope all is well with you. This is Kevin Huckabee with What the Huck Presents, the incorrigible Sir Hemingsworth. Now, if you've missed the first two chapters in this four-part miniseries, here's what's happened so far. During Camille's night watch rounds at the Dallas Museum of Art, she runs into and confronts a 6'6" blue skinned man who introduces himself as Sir Hemingsworth. Sir Hemingsworth is there to borrow, air quotes, an artifact as he is collecting four altogether, this being the first that he's found. He introduces Camille to his traveling companion, the Golden Compact, and as he takes the first artifact and teleports away, Camille grabs a hold of him and is teleported away with them. Now, at the base of Sir Hemingsworth, he explains the multiverse to Camille, and then they're off to get the second artifact, but are confronted by giants. As the giants argued amongst themselves about which one of them would eat Camille and Sir Hemingsworth, they are all frozen by a stasis field from pirates, and Camille, Sir Hemingsworth, the Golden Compact, and the second artifact are taken. And now, here is chapter 3, Gema. As the teleportation is completed, Camille observes her new surroundings. She notices that they appear to be on a pirate ship from the olden days of her Earth's history, with differences. First of all, there is technology she has never seen against and made into what would be the deck of a sailing ship. The area that would normally be open to the sky is covered in a transparent shield that still allows those on the deck to see the stars of space, which is where it appears they are, in space, with different beings manning their post. Some look human, some don't. Her astonishment is interrupted by the voice she heard over the loudspeaker before they were transported, which sounds very familiar to Camille. Edward, darling, you've a lot of explaining to do. Camille turns to see who the familiar voice belongs to and is caught between the feelings of shock and excitement. She blurts out, Meg? Meg the Stallion? Causing everyone's gaze to turn to Camille with looks of confusion, standing in what could only be described as a black, tight leather catsuit with her hair slicked back into a high ponytail and a black star painted around her eye, is the subject of Camille's excitement, who has a look of disgust on her pretty visage. Sir Hemingsworth tries to bring Camille back to the now, saying through gritted teeth, You goofy girl, calm down. Multiverse, remember? Edward, darling, who is your new pet? Why doesn't she know who I am? Have you tried to replace me? The obvious leader of the pirates' face has now shifted from disgust to anger and irritation, and Hemingsworth's face, now wrought with concern, says, Oh no, my darling, you could never be replaced. The pirate leader interrupts. Allow me to introduce myself, since Edward is so rude. I am Gema Nistal. You are now on my ship, the boat. I am the leader of the Star Takers. We take what we want, and Edward here has something I want. Oh, my dear, of course I have what you want, but you don't have to take it, oh gorgeous one. I know I don't have to take what you're thinking of, but I no longer want that, Edward. You have proven yourself to be disloyal and incorrigible. Now, all I want from you is the first artifact in the Golden Compact. I now have one of those two, and you will tell me where the first artifact is. And if you don't, you know how I can be, Edward. Darling, you know I can be flighty, as it were. I have only located this, the second artifact, and have not found the first yet, O goddess of greatness. Edward, 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 says Gemma, shaking her head in disgust. She continues, You do know that you are a terrible liar, darling, and your attempts at flattery are unmoving. As Hemingsworth and Gemma are having their conversation, Camille's head is turning to each of them as if watching a tennis ball go back and forth. She gathers herself and interrupts with, Wait, are you two like exes or something? Like you used to be together? Camille now holding up her hands in front of her with her fingers interlocked and face full of confusion. Gemma and Hemingsworth reply at the same time. No. Yes. Hemingsworth, now with a face full of fear, and Gemma with a face full of fury, says, How dare you! You scoundrel! Throw them in the brig! My darling, I thought we had decided not to place titles on us. Surely you know that. Hemingsworth's voice trails off as he and Camille are forcibly pushed below deck into the bowels of the ship by the scruffy crew of beings in Gemma's employ, who all have the same black star on one eye as she does, leaving her to say, If Edward doesn't tell me where the first artifact is, him and his new pet will suffer. As they enter the bowels of the ship, a stark difference is noticed. On the deck of the ship, which doubled as the bridge, it was newer, clean, futuristic, considering the make of the ship, which is basically an old sailing ship in space. However, in the bowels, where the brig is, it started to resemble an old sailing ship. Dilapidation, dark, dirty, and musty. As the pirates escort Camille and Hemingsworth to their cell, walking side by side with the pirates trailing, Camille and Hemingsworth observe the cells they pass. Camille, being on the left, peeks into each cell she passes on her side, with Hemingsworth doing the same on the opposite side. Camille sees skeletons in some, while in the last cell on her side, she sees who appears to be one of the pirates, but badly beaten, sitting and looking down. As she looks halfway behind her to one of the trailing escort pirates, she asks, What did he do? The literally dog-faced pirate responds, The captain wanted him to shine her boots, and when he didn't do a good enough job, she made him lick them. And when that wasn't a good enough job, she turned him over to us. And once we had our fun, he ended up here. That is, until he walks the plank, like you eventually will. Having reached an empty cell, the pirates push Camille and Hemingsworth into it and press a button that activates bars of energy instead of steel ones. As the pirates walk away laughing, Camille turns to Hemingsworth with an exacerbated look, to which he responds, What? Hands up in a matter of confusion. Enraging Camille, she then angrily repeats, "What? What? Are you freaking serious?" Hemingsworth is now looking like a chastised child as Camille continues, "You indigo ignoramus, you better start explaining, or you won't have to worry about what your ex-darling is going to do to you, because I'll be wearing that blue skin as a jacket." Hemingsworth, now standing with one hand in the other, pressed to his chest, looking intimidated, eyes darting back and forth, sheepishly says, "Indigo ignoramus. That's a pretty good one. My..." Camille cuts him off by lashing out with, "Oh no. Oh no. Not this time, bucko. No jokes. Explain." "And where should I start?" "Okay, see, you know what, man? You gonna make me from the beginning, you big blue baboon." Okay. From the beginning. Let's see. Yes. When I was born on the 7th day of Nehas, Now, you're playing with me, says a full-on angry Camille, punching her hand, causing Hemingsworth to take a deep breath in fear and cover his mouth. He quickly removes his hand and says, "Okay, yes, it's true. Gema and I were once an item, and we traveled the multiverse together. When we met, she had already acquired, from where I don't know, the Golden Compact. From it, we learned about the last spark of the invisible flame, but its location remained a secret. That is, until we learned of the Diviner device, which, when put together, could locate the invisible flame. To protect the location of the spark, the Diviner device was broken into 4 pieces and spread across the multiverse. It was thought to be lost until we discovered a map telling us where the 4 units of the device were located." Camille, with a suspicious look, interrupts with, "Wait. If the invisible flame's location is a secret, then why is there a map to a device that can locate it?" "Simple. The interdimensional being who was the custodian of the invisible flame cast it into the multiverse, not knowing where it would end up. But before doing so, he created the Diviner device in case he needed to relocate the invisible flame for whatever reason. He then disassembled the Diviner device and hid its components in different spots in the multiverse, creating a map of those locations in case he needed to reassemble the Diviner device." Camille squints her eyes as she absorbs the information while thinking of more questions. She then asks, "Interdimensional being, what's the difference between dimensions and the multiverse? Aren't they like the same thing?" Hemingsworth, fluttering his eyes in impatience, responds, "Do they teach you nothing on your Terra?" "Nope. Not the time to be a smart aleck, dude. Just explain." Hemingsworth clears his throat nervously and continues, "Okay. The 2 main differences between dimensions and verses are: 1. The laws of reality can be completely different in a dimension than in the multiverse. And 2. Dimensions exist on different planes of reality, as it were, than the multiverse. I'm sure on your Terra, you've heard of the afterlife, or where the great maker resides. That would be considered a different dimension." "I think I get it. But wait, why do you want the invisible flame? You haven't told me yet." Hemingsworth, looking upward with a smug smile, satisfied with what he's imagining, says, "My dear, I want the last spark of creation energy to create my own private luxury moon." I can see it now, a moon with everything I could ever imagine for me and me alone that no one would be able to locate. Camille, now with a look of disbelief, disgust, and a taste of anger, says, "You've got to be kidding me. You said the invisible flame is the last spark of creation energy, meaning it can literally create anything, right?" "Yes." "And all you want is a stupid moon?" "Well, I don't think it's stupid. A moon with all the amenities one could ever want? The ultimate vacation spot. But for you and you only." "Well, yes." "You know what? You really are incorrigible. Okay, now explain why the dominatrix version of Meg the Stallion is mad at you." Hemingsworth, now with a pompous smile and eyes closed, responds, "Well, isn't it obvious? She misses my greatness." "Sounds like to me you stole the map to find the diviner device for yourself along with the golden compact." "Now see here, you facetious female. I say again, I am no petty thief. I'll have you know." But Hemingsworth is interrupted from outside the cell by the dog-faced pirate who has returned.
"All right, enough yapping. You, the delicious-looking brown one, the captain wants to see you. Come on, then."
Dogface produces an energy cutlass and motions for Camille to leave the cell to escort her above deck to the quarters of a waiting Gema Nistal. Upon reaching said quarters, Dogface says,
"Captain, I have the female prisoner for you."
From behind a metal door, Gemma can be heard saying, "Excellent." The door slides open, revealing Gemma, now in a red full-body catsuit. "You may go, crewman, and you, my darling, may enter." Camille passes the threshold of the metal door, quickly looking around the quarters, astonished at the size and luxuriousness of the room, as well as the bits of advanced technology. She remarks, "I didn't expect this for a captain of pirates. Just because I take what I want doesn't mean I am uncivilized, as you will learn. Now, as to why I had you brought before me, has Edward revealed to you any information regarding our history?" Yeah, he said that y'all traveled the multiverse together, that you had the golden compact when he met you, and you began searching for the invisible flame together. "Oh, so he told you the truth, or at least part of it. Did he tell you why he took the golden compact along with the map to find the components of the diviner device?" "No, but he told me why he wants the invisible flame." Ugh, that stupid private luxury moon idea. "I know, right? That's got to be one of the silliest things I've ever heard of. Why would you want the last spark of creation power for something so trivial?" "Indeed, my dear, indeed." "Wait a second. Why do you want it?" "Well, as you seem to understand, the invisible flame can create anything its wielder imagines. But just as it is able to create anything, it can also destroy anything." Camille, now with a furrowed brow, asks in a suspicious tone, "And what do you want to destroy?" an ex-boyfriend. All versions of an ex-boyfriend in all verses. Camille turns to look over her shoulder and mutters, "Psycho." "What's that, darling? Did you call me psycho?" Quickly switching subjects, Camille asks, "But how did you come across the Golden Compact?" Gema, with a squinty-eyed smile, explains, A scientist from my verse had been experimenting and figured out how to travel through the multiverse. He then built the Golden Compact, programming it with an artificial intelligence that gained sentience the more it was used. He then began working on that. Gemma points to a control panel on a wall behind Camille, who turns to see an identical silver compact connected to the technology on the control panel, but couldn't complete it. "Hey, that's a silver compact." "Yes, but what's the difference between the two?" "Though my ship can travel the multiverse with the silver compact installed into it and create its own null vibration, it lacks the same artificial intelligence as the golden compact or some of the abilities it has. Like I stated, the scientist that built the golden compact didn't have a chance to finish the silver one." Camille turns back to face Gemma with an inquisitive look and asks, "But if the scientist had time to finish the golden one, why couldn't he finish the silver compact?" Gemma, smiling deviously, says, "Let's just say he ran out of time. Now, darling, tell me about how you came to be in the presence of my Edward, and what is that dreadful garb he has you parading around in? For goodness sake, it looks like a preposterous version of a mom uniform." "Again with this mom stuff? Anyway, my name is Camille Hutchinson, and I met your Edward when he came to my Earth for what he called the Chethel or something like that. See, where I'm from, I'm a part-time security guard at a museum, and we have a new exhibition that hasn't even been open to the public yet. And while I was making my rounds, I ran into the blue bum Hemingsworth about to take off with an exhibit. And honey, I was like, if you go take this, I'm coming to keep an eye on it and make sure you bring it back." So, he does have the first artifact, the liar. Wait, what? Camille, realizing she got too comfortable, forgetting that this isn't Meg the Stallion. "Crewman,
Yes, Captain?
bring me Hemingsworth."
Yes, Captain.
"And by the great maker, if he doesn't tell me the truth, it'll be very bad for you, Camille." "Me? But..." To be continued in the 4th chapter of The Incorrigible Sir Hemingsworth.